This is JJ Solomon.
This Corey Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.
Yeah, with the Spit Bucket Podcast, we got Corey Bradshaw on. We're here with Ivan Redkach and his wife to kind of give explanations of what's going on with the BLK situation, the Adrien Broner fight that appears to be off. We have Ivan and Anya. Anya's going to be doing some interpretation. So Anya, can you let us know, give us an update of what's going on with this, with the fight and why it's being called off?
Sure. Начинай, я буду переводить.
Ребят, всем привет. Это Иван Redkach.
Hi everyone, this is Ivan Redkach.
И сегодня случилась неприятная ситуация. Мой промоутер украл мою мечту.
Unfortunately, today, my promoter stole my dream.
И, пожалуйста, объясни, расскажи, как это все произошло, потому что свидетель.
So basically, before Ivan flew to Nebraska, of course the deal was done, but verbally, with Ivan's promoter. Otherwise, Ivan wouldn't be released to fly to Nebraska until they reach some type of an agreement. Ivan, that's the reason why Ivan flew to Nebraska. He appeared at the press conference, and everybody thought that the deal is done, and we just been waiting for the bout agreement from BLK. All of a sudden, Ivan's promoter decided to be involved, like 100%. The first, she said that he has to negotiate the bout agreement, but we became surprised that what you're going to negotiate if the deal is actually done.
Exactly.
So it basically just has to be put like in writing. So then he said that none of us allowed to reach BLK or even accept the phone calls or text messages from them. And not all of us, it includes Ivan, me, and Ivan's advisor, Charles.
And his promoter, just so we can clarify, we're talking about Joe DeGuardio, right?
Correct, Joe, yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was kind of like interesting to hear that none of us allowed to talk, reach, or accept phone calls, text messages, respond on any and all, and from any and all on behalf of the BLK. Okay, so if you have exclusive rights, so it means that you're going to represent Ivan's the best interest exclusively. And then it took like a while. We haven't seen the bout agreement. Finally, the bout agreement was received by Ivan's promoter, and then he just was holding. He didn't return it to Ivan. On Saturday, we finally received the bout agreement, but it was not a bout agreement from BLK. It was a bout agreement from his promoter to Ivan on the top of his promotional agreement, which is totally wrong because it was a simple task, right? You agreed on the amount and the percentage, and you have to release. Basically, it's one paragraph release. But you release Ivan to fight.
Wow.
Instead, he sent 10 pages bout agreement. 10 pages, which says where there is no word about the BLK but pay-per-view, and that's it. And the rest is basically says that his promoter takes all rights out of Ivan. He didn't make a decision about the corner, his team, what they're gonna wear. That Ivan has to get an approval only from him, and he will get like some sponsorship, so it also has to go through him. He even demanded in case if Adrien Broner overweight, so his promoter was demanding 50% out of the penalties. which we've never heard that boxers would share 50% overweight penalty with the promoter.
This was Joe. Joe required the 50% of Adrien Broner was overweight?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but the question was like, it's not about agreement between the BLK and Ivan. It's about agreement between he represented between Star Boxing, Joe, right, and Ivan. But Star Boxing had nothing to do with that promotion. They don't entertain nor they promote that fight.
Wow.
Absolutely. So at this point, I decided to break the rule and reach BLK and find out what exactly going on, why it took so long. The simple, which previously verbally agreed terms and conditions, all of a sudden turned to be very bad and absolutely unacceptable. And apparently Joe sent a separate agreement to BLK.
So Joe sent a separate agreement to BLK. So Joe, the president CEO of Star Boxing, who's representing Ivan, sent a separate agreement to BLK?
Correct.
Why did he send a separate agreement?
My understanding that he wanted to become a co-promoter.
Oh,
So let
man.
me ask you a question. Do you think Joe is the reason why?
Not that I think. I don't think he's the reason. I'm sure that he's the only reason.
You're sure of it. One thing you were very careful to say before we started the second part of the conversation was that you put zero blame on BLK. So I know you mentioned that they were late to send you, or they held on to the agreement for a while. But
No,
even
they
with...
don't. No, it was like, okay, maybe they hold on it like for a week, right? But then Joe was holding it like for, 2 weeks, 10 days? But it doesn't matter who sent the agreement first or the second. There was about agreement between BLK and Ivan. That's it.
Got you.
And there shouldn't be another agreement between Star Boxing and Ivan and Star Boxing and BLK. The only thing that Joe had to do is to release Ivan in exchange of the percentage. But percentage is a different story, because apparently every time when Joe reached BLK, he never negotiated Ivan's portion. He only negotiated his portion.
Really?
There were no award about Ivan's purse. Instead, he tried to get more. Okay, if the BLK is not going to negotiate, his percentage to release Ivan, then he was okay to take the difference from Ivan's purse.
So
it's not about who sent the bout agreement when. It's not an issue at all. The issue is that Joe never released Ivan. He never sent him a bout agreement from BLK. Instead, he created his own contagious agreement. Like he's promoting this fight. And he takes all rights out of the Ivan.
And did BLK, so was there ever any point where you guys could get out from under from Joe?
That's what we're going to think and work out of it. I mean, it's too short.
Sure.
Because it's too short. The Ivan's agreement signed under the New York jurisdiction. It's not under the California jurisdiction. In California, there is no expertise hearings for the contractual relationship or contractual issues. Or, for example, if it's in LA County, right, the LA County is overwhelmed. Most likely the first available emergency hearing will be a month from now.
Wow.
Then the New York jurisdiction, I'm not even sure if they have those emergency hearings for contracts. And it's in New York.
Jeez, yeah, it's frustrating.
So let me ask you a question. So you're basically saying your promoter, Joe, he was trying to steal money out of Ivan's purse? That's the reason why this fight isn't happening?
Yeah, I would say he tried to legally.
Yeah, he tried to legally steal, try to get into negotiations that he never was initially part of. Now, Anya, Ivan, were you guys? I mean, what's the last communication you guys have received from either BLK or Adrien Broner himself?
From they always been like on the I'm not Adrien Broner, right? But BLK, they always been in touch. I truly appreciate them because they put all efforts to resolve any issues, to solve issues, to try to find a solution and try to please Joe as much as they could. But they cannot please him when the person agreed to take 50% out of Ivan's purse. Even Ivan
was trying to get 50%.
He wanted like that much. So basically, the BLK, they even on Saturday they offer him like, fine, you know what? Unfortunately for us, on Monday there is a holiday and bank's gonna be closed. But on Tuesday we're gonna wire you of transfer, made it wire transfer. We will pay you up in front, but send us to release. But he didn't want 25% out of Ivan's purse. He wanted more.
Wow.
But of course, like from BLK, right? Like it's a violation. How could they say, oh, okay, so take? No, it's not. So then Ivan stepped in. And he asked BLK that, please, let me try to deal. Let me try to find. So he emailed Joe saying that, Joe, take whatever you want. How much do you want? Everything. Take everything. But release me to fight. Do not interfere with my job. He could not offer Ivan. He didn't even send him any valid offers since Ivan signed the contract with him. None.
Wow.
Ivan asked him, do you have anything to offer me? Do you have the better opportunity to beat this fight? A better opponent or a better purse? He doesn't have any. So then please, do not interfere. Don't stay on my way. Let me work. Let me do my job. You know that this is my dream. You know how much I wanted this fight. I already invest not only my money to the camp, but my emotional being.
Absolutely.
My physicals, everything. I've been working out since he found out that he's going to fight with Adrien Broner 2-3 times a day, every day.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because one thing that Ivan told me yesterday was I was even ready to fight for free. So this obviously isn't just Ivan trying to come out and grab a paycheck. This was Ivan trying to position himself with an opportunity with a big profile name like Adrien Broner. So can you talk a little bit about that? You know, what the game plan was outside of the money that you're losing, how it's impacting you emotionally, physically, and all that.
Как тебя это затронуло эмоционально, физически? Какой ущерб тебе это нанесло?
Для меня это был большой ущерб, но я знал, что для меня остается большой мотивацией драться с Адрианом, потому что большая опасность.
This news definitely, like, it's devastating for me. My hands were dropped. I kept a hope until today that something will be changed, because apparently Joe is supposed to send BLK release today by noon, but he never did. And when I found out, when I was reached by BLK and they notified me that I'm no longer on card against Adrien Broner, my hands were dropped.
So let me ask you a question, and can you ask Ivan this? How long have you been signed with Joe?
Since August 2022.
Okay, so you just signed with him?
Like 6 months ago, yes.
And you have not had one fight under him?
No, nothing.
Wow.
As I previously said, they're not even a valid offer.
Oh, so you have had offers?
No, he didn't even offer anything. I mean, he was throwing those bones, right? But the offers were invalid. How you can offer something, just offer the name, but not offer date, venue, and the most important, right, amount.
Wow. So,
it's like I will tell you, okay, can you fight, I don't know, Masha, Sasha, right? Okay, who's this one? How much? No, can you or not? Oh, no, okay, see, you said no.
Wow. Well, I mean, obviously yesterday, just back and forth with Ivan, I could hear how disappointed and heartbroken he was. And honestly, guys, from the perspective of a fan at this point, I hate to hear this. Ivan, I know you work hard, man, and you put it all out there, and it's frustrating for politics to not only interfere with a man's physical and emotional, but at the end of the day, your way to provide for the family. So that's very frustrating. Is there anything anything that you want to make sure that gets out there that maybe the media or people aren't picking up at this point?
Ivan said that I feel bad for those boxers who still under contractual relationship with him, or who were under the contractual relationship with him. Because right now I can only imagine how tough it was or it is for them. Because out of my experience with him, even though he tried to prove that I do everything, like I do the best for you, he did nothing towards me. He basically invested 0 cents into myself. 0. But he was agreed to take 50% out of my purse.
So how many years did you sign with Joe?
Насколько лет ты с ним подписывал контракт? 2 или 3? 3 years.
So, with the situations that you're claiming that went on, is there any type of way that you could sue Joe? Or, let me say this, is that your next action that y'all will take, is to sue Joe for the mistreatment he has done with Adrien?
Let's do step by step.
Sure.
Он говорит, будет уже судить или нет. I think that's something like which...
Я должен обеспечить семью, и он меня всего этого лишил. Он поставил команду, он поставил промоутеру, он все поставил под угрозу.
Ivan said that he stole my job, he stole my finance. He put under the pressure team, BLK, everybody around this fight. BLK truly tried to set it up to make it work.
Wow.
They literally were like almost like going like for everything, like, but he demanded some stuff which is absolutely unacceptable.
Now, are you able to elaborate a little bit on that? I know you mentioned the weight clause with Adrien Broner. Are there any other details of the contract that Joe was requiring that were just unacceptable in your words?
Weight, like, you mean unacceptable based on the bout agreement he sent to Ivan?
Yes.
Instead of the BLK's bout agreement?
Yes.
Oh, there is a 10 pages agreement. It was a simple bout agreement. Have you seen a 10 pages bout agreement?
No, absolutely not.
So I think that you can imagine, right, that he tried to put any and all provisions which actually only in his favor, which protects his interest only, but takes away interest from Ivan. As I said, it's even the simple stuff, but for some odd reason, Ivan and Ivan's team had to, and by the way, this is the bout agreement he sent between Ivan and him, right? But he even included his team in some of the provisions, that they have to ask his permission whether or not they can wear some certain type of merchandise, if there's any logos, even that type, like simple stuff.
And those were Joe's provisions?
Yes.
Wow.
We do understand, right?
Yeah, are you telling me that he put in the bout agreement that you had to let him know what logos you were wearing? Because usually when fighters have logos, that be guys who is interested in sponsoring the fighter. Are you telling me that Joe put in a bout agreement that you had to let him know what logos you were putting on your clothes?
Yes.
Wow. This is crazy. This is a little unheard of. Now Corey tapped on it a little bit ago, and you mentioned you want to do next steps. So what is that next step for you guys, and what are y'all hoping to see from it? Obviously, with the time crunch, is it safe to say the fight is not happening at this point? And if so, what's y'all's game plan?
I cannot, and I think Ivan also, we cannot speak up on behalf of the BLK. We hope that the fight's still moving on, and truly wish the Adrien. This is probably maybe the first boxer, opponent, for whom we truly wish the best and work hard, lose weight, and be in the best shape. But most likely we hope that the fight is still going to be on, and Adrien will perform.
But you're saying Adrien is still fighting, but definitely Ivan is not.
Ivan is not. But Ivan said that I'm going to be there, and I'm going to support Adrien.
Wow, man. Well, you hate to hear that. It sounds, again, like I mentioned earlier, you could hear the real genuine heartbreak in Ivan's voice, and I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry that y'all are going through this. I appreciate you guys taking the time to give us a call and kind of explain, because, like I said, there's a lot of confused people out there, and then they start spreading their own rumors. So we appreciate you. But, Corey, do you have any follow-up that you want to ask?
Ivan just said that, unfortunately, I did all I could, and it's
Well, thank you very much. Corey, you still on, brother?
Yeah, I'm still on him.
Any follow-up you have, man?
Oh, no. I just, like I said, I do apologize to Ivan and them about the situation they're going through. Have a lot of empathy for it. And we're going to definitely make sure we do our part in getting this story out here, because in boxing, when guys put their life on the line, and when that's the way they feed their family, and a promoter does Ivan the way he did, that's truly unacceptable.
We appreciate your understanding, and from my side, I just can add that I've never seen my husband that disappointed, when you dream of something and your dream is just collapsed. His eyes were full of frustration, and I just keep telling him that he shouldn't drop his hands, and it's not the end of the world.
No.
He did everything he could, and BLK did everything they could. Everybody tried to.
Sure.
Hard.
Yeah, tough scenario, tough circumstances, guys. Well, we'll keep your chin up, Ivan. Keep grinding, brother. Like I saw to you yesterday, those messages that sometimes these things pop up and we don't have a way to understand them at the time, but there's always a big picture, man. So keep doing your thing. And like Corey said earlier, we hate to hear it, and I'm sorry that you're going through this, but thank you guys so much for providing some clarity and some candid, being completely candid with the circumstances. And we'll do everything in our power to get this out there for people to understand the injustice that was done to you and your family, guys. We're sorry about that, and we appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely. You guys have a great night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, this is JJ with the Spit Bucket Podcast. We got Corey Bradshaw on. We're here with Ivan Redkach and his wife to kind of give explanations of what's going on with the BLK situation, the Adrien Broner fight that appears to be off. We have Ivan and Anya. Anya is going to be doing some interpretation. So, Anya, can you let us know, give us an update of what's going on with this, with the fight and why it's being called off?
Sure. Начинай, я буду переводить.
Ребят, всем привет. Это Иван Redkach.
Hi everyone, this is Ivan Redkach.
И сегодня случилась неприятная ситуация. Мой промоутер украл мою мечту.
Unfortunately, today, my promoter stole my dream.
Мне, пожалуйста, объясни, расскажи, как это все произошло, потому что свидетель.
So basically, before Ivan flew to Nebraska, of course the deal was done, but verbally, with Ivan's promoter. Otherwise, Ivan wouldn't be released to fly to Nebraska until they reach some type of an agreement. That's the reason why Ivan flew to Nebraska. He appeared at a press conference, and everybody thought that the deal is done, and we just been waiting for the bout agreement from BLK. All of a sudden, Ivan's promoter decided to be involved, like 100%. The first, he said that he has to negotiate the bout agreement, but we became surprised that what you're going to negotiate if the deal is actually done.
Exactly.
So it basically just has to be put like in writing. So then he said that none of us allowed to reach BLK or even accept the phone calls or text messages from them. And not all of us, it includes Ivan, me, and Ivan's advisor, Charles.
And his promoter, just so we can clarify, we're talking about Joe DeGuardio, right?
Correct, Joe, yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was kind of like interesting to hear that none of us allowed to talk, reach, or accept phone calls, text messages, respond on any and all, and from any and all on behalf of the BLK.
This is JJ Solomon.
This is Ray Bradshaw, Mr. RTD, and Mr. These boys can touch me on my worst day.
And then it took like a while. We haven't seen the product.
And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.